Welcome back. I really am thrilled to be able to make our very first 2024 actual walkthrough here on the Westeinderplassen. I am still Bart Kempers. It may seem like I have been asleep during the winter, but we actually haven't. We've been preparing boats, we've been doing boat shows, and now we brought this really great Sea Ray SDX 290. This actually is a sold boat. We're going to deliver this boat to the owner actually today, so we're really thrilled to be able to do that and also to be able to make this review. But let me take you on board. It is an outboard version, so I am going to tell you all about these two fantastic outboards. But as usual, I'd like to start at the bow and go through the boat, starting at the bow again and going further aft and explaining you everything about this Sea Ray SDX 290. To start with, this is a big bow rider. I've always appreciated the SDX series being big boats with lots of volume in the bow area. One size smaller is the SDX 270, of which we usually sell quite a few. My personal favorite, by the way, has always been the Sea Ray SLX 250, a beautiful classy boat, but size-wise the SDX are unbeatable. And this 290 is a huge boat. I mean, sitting here in the bow area, you can already see I am quite tall, but you can see that this is huge. An area which could handle, I think, well, 4 people easily. And of course now we have this filler piece right here. This can be taken out also, and you can sit around this area with quite a big group. A lot more than 4. There's also a place to put a table in. It now is in the back. I'll get to that later. A nice Sea Ray table, teak, with the Sea Ray logo in. But this is just a huge bow area. Not only that, a thing that I particularly like about this boat is the upholstery. This is the Harlow Coconut, which I'm afraid won't be available on all boats and won't be available for very long. This is a boat that is being built in Poland now. That is a first. This, I think, is one of the very first SDX 290s, especially in an outboard version built in Poland. We're really happy as a Dutch dealer that Sea Ray has been doing that, I think, for over 20 years. Quality is excellent. But we are happy that we don't have the relatively expensive transport from the US. So pricing is competitive. That is really nice. And in Poland they have been using this Harlow Coconut on some boats. And this owner fortunately decided to choose this particular upholstery, which I think looks very classy. Our experience also with this upholstery is really good. There's somebody from Sea Ray we know who has had this on his boat for I think 2 years or so. Really happy with it. It's easy to clean, it's not vulnerable, it's a nice type of upholstery. Okay, nice armrests by the way, and also nice detailing like we're used to with Sea Ray, with this honeycomb profile here on these panels, speakers here in the bow area, grab rails. Ergonomics I am forgetting. It's always done in a way that if you do sit here, I mean the angle of the backrest has been done perfectly. Not only that, this just feels very comfortable. I could put my other arm here, hang on to this grab rail. So again, ergonomics is something Sea Ray is well known for. There's cup holders also. You may not be able to see it from there, but there's stainless steel cup holders. There's 2 here, and I think there's at least 2 more in this area below this filler piece. And of course, there's a possibility to have a bow anchor right here underneath this anchor locker. So if you would be using this to get on and off the boat, I mean, you wouldn't stumble over the anchor. So it's protected, it's non-skid over the full beam. This is all non-skid. Nice hinges, all stainless steel, and not only that, also the anchor is full stainless steel, high gloss, polished, really nice detailing. Not only that, there's a shower here, spray down to be able to clean the anchor, or if you were to beach the boat and get on from the bow with sandy feet, you could rinse your feet with this shower in the bow area. Of course, navigation lights, and again, it's huge. It's very beamy. I think the beam of this boat is 2.74 meters by heart, which is wider than the 270, which is 259. And you notice that a lot of people look at the length. It's only 2 feet more in length than the 270, but beam counts with regards to volume, and that you notice especially in this really huge bow area. Of course, there's storage below. I won't go into that, but there's storage below the cushions right here. And going further aft, there is storage right here, actually huge. Now there's a fire extinguisher, the amplifier is here, but there's huge storage in this position. So there's lots of, you can actually carry lots of stuff on board this big bow rider. And there's a door here to close off the bow section. This actually can be nice, especially in the springs, on a day such as today, where the water usually tends to be relatively cold. And you're all excited to go out in the water, and then you find out that the water makes it feel chilly. So what you can do is close this, close the window, so you take away the wind from the cockpit. When you go out anchor, of course, the boat will automatically turn with the bow towards the wind. So you take away the wind, because this full area protects everybody sitting in the cockpit from a potentially chilly wind. There's also, I'm forgetting, there's a locker right here, a lockable locker actually. So you could put, for example, a wakeboard down there and lock it to protect it from theft. And here there's a small dashboard locker to put away a phone. What I always like with Sea Ray is the attention to detail. I mean, it's just not a simple lid like this, but it's something put here so that it stays open. You can use both hands to put things in and out. But not only that, if water is to pour in, if you have like a sudden shower or something, or some water coming over this area, it would be drained via this hole. So the nice attention to detail. Also things such as this, stainless steel, decent cup holders. And of course below here there is a huge head. I usually tend to get in, which I will also do this time to show how big it is. I am known also as the 1.92 m guy, and you can see for me this is big enough. There's a porthole here for some daylight. There's some nice wood details. A nice countertop, I would say. And of course there's well, a possibility to clean your hands. Not only that, there's a small shower here. So this could actually be used. It drains here to clean either yourself or other stuff. There's a storage cabinet right here, nice wood finish also here, and a small locker right there. Shouldn't be showing you this. This is where we put the drone for the video. But again, a really nice head. Some people don't use this as a head, but just as further storage, which is also fine, of course. Usually when you get on board for a nice day on the water, you have lots of stuff with you, like drinks, but towels, and well, all kinds of stuff. If you just put your bags in, the boat looks clean and tidy. So this is also a nice way to store the things that you carry on board for a nice day on the water. What I like on the SDX is just the way the seating has been done. I mean, if I swivel these two, you immediately feel and notice how big this is. Again, I'm 1.92 m. If I sit here, I still am kind of lost in the space here. It is big. So I could easily imagine taking my family, my parents, even friends with 10 people or so out for a great day on the water, and still there would be plenty of room. This is huge. Not only that, it's very practical. There's a beautiful and nice table here. Nice Sea Ray teak table. There's a fridge on this side, relatively big, so you can store things here. The lid is being sent from the factory, that was missing, so there's a lid here, of course, in the same finish such as this. There's a wash down right here, so you can rinse a glass or other stuff, wash your hands. So again, very practical. And not only that, there's a fridge, as I mentioned, right there, but this also is a place where you could store further drinks. I don't know by heart if there's a possibility to fit a electric cooling fan also in this area, but if Sea Ray wouldn't supply that, we as a dealer could fit one, I can imagine. But I think the fridge is enough, especially if you bring ice and stuff like that and put the drinks here. I think it's sufficient. Again, I love the Harlow coconut with the honeycomb structure in certain areas and a nicely stitched Sea Ray logo here in the back. And of course, these swivel like this on both sides with a flip-up possibility on both sides as well. So I could sit here as a passenger, overlook the water, and if I would want to sit comfortably, I fold this down. And the same applies to the helm, where I can do the same. And I can also, I have to be careful with my phone here. I can also do this, slide it forward and aft. Being 1.92 m, I usually tend to put it in the most aft position so that I have enough space here. And I always like what Sea Ray does. Again, ergonomics are important, is that they have a kind of angled footrest here so that you can actually push yourself towards the backrest so that you're sheltered, protected in heavy conditions, or if you tend to do some sporty driving. A great helm. I'll take her out for a spin, so I'll do some more explaining when we do that. But I think the general overview is really good with this nice big Simrad new NSX display. Also, I'm really well protected with these with this windscreen, finished in black, tinted windows, very practical and nicely looking. Let me see if there's anything I'm forgetting. Of course, there's cup holder also here, and as I mentioned, there's two here. There's a grab rail on this side. There's more grab rails here in the cockpit, one here. And as you may see, I now put the table here, this position. There's another place to put the table, which is right here, and one in the bow. So you could actually use this table in different positions. There's dedicated storage below here. I'll show you later. And if desired, you could order a second table so you could have it at the same time in the bow area and in the cockpit. This customer ordered this boat with the optional sea deck, a material that is greatly appreciated by our customers because it's easy to clean, it's very practical. I mean, it feels really comfortable on a hot day on your feet. I mean, it doesn't matter if your feet are wet. Again, it's easy to clean, and I think it also looks good, especially in combination with this Harlow coconut upholstery. There's a tower, of course. This boat actually is going to Lake Garda in Italy, so I can imagine that in those conditions you like a big bimini, which you can see it actually is quite big. And also if you do wakeboarding or skiing, having a possibility to tow someone with this towing point right here is really very practical and makes wake-to-wake jumping for wakeboarders relatively easy. There's further storage here. There's a step which folds down right here. So if you have relatively high pontoons, it's easy to get on and off the boat from here. Talking about storage, there's another cooler right here. A portable cooler which you can bring home and fill with cold drinks, etc. There's a really deep storage right here. Our coats, etc. are now in here, so you may not be able to see. You may notice it's this deep, like this, so it's really deep. So huge storage below here. And of course, this being the outboard version, there's no engine below this sunpad. And let me just show you what they did fit underneath this sunpad. And it actually is just further storage. I mean, it's huge. You see that this customer chose to bring 6 fenders. There's 2 out on the boat now. They're relatively big, but there's still plenty of space. So you could put a stand-up paddle board if it were deflated in here. Even a couple life vests, all kinds of stuff. Water toys you could put here. There's dedicated storage. This is the place where you put the teak table. You may notice that it already has the possibility to fit 2. This customer chose to have only 1. This is the navigation light. There's a flagpole lying there. We didn't put it on yet. But again, the advantage of not having an inboard engine is this huge storage. Okay, let me take it down. Have to be slightly careful. Like this. Batteries, 3 of them. There's a battery charger right there. I always also like this detail where they have this material also ventilating the bottom part of the cushions, so that if some water gets in, it also more or less goes out automatically again also. There's a shower here. So if you do some swimming in salt water, you can rinse off the salt with this outside shower. There's a small door. Protects either small kids or little dogs from falling overboard. There's further storage below here. This can also be used as a place to store cold drinks. There's controls for the audio right here. There's a 12-volt connection right there. There's also access to the storage from here. Let me quickly show you. So again, here you see where you put the 2 teak tables and also the arm used to put the tables on. There's cup holders on both sides. And you may also notice this light here. This is used for these 2 outboards, because there's a light running indicating that the engines are running. And that is done especially because of the skyhook feature, where you put the boat on a certain position, you press a button, and with GPS and the engines, the boat just stays on that position. People not knowing about this system may think that the boat is on anchor, which can be a danger. So that is why this light is used to indicate that the engines are running. There's a big sunpad here. What I always like is the possibility also to pull this up like this. Let me quickly check how this is done. So that if you sit here with this slightly elevated, it just makes you sit comfortably with this piece being in your knees, so that you're protected from sliding out, and also just makes you sit comfortably. Armrests obviously on both sides, and you can see that even for a tall guy like myself, it's relatively big. This is long enough for many people to lie down and enjoy the sunshine. So a great aft area, roomy, and also some people, I could explain many advantages of using outboards versus stern drive applications. But some people say, hey, I don't like having outboards on the transom, which obviously is a matter of taste also. But a reason not to choose outboards may be that usually you could have with Sea Ray the submersible swim platform on this side, which falls down. You can see that in our other videos. But there's a nice solution now here on this side. What I also really appreciate is this nice way to get in and out of the water, put water skis or wakeboards on. I mean, I just think this is really practical. And like we're used to from Sea Ray, there's proper hinges, all made from stainless steel. There's non-skid here. There's small pieces of rubber against well, this rattling, etc. So it's just been done in a really nice way. There's a swim ladder. Let me think. It's on the other side, I think. Yeah, right here. I'm not sitting on the right place to take it out. Yeah. Like this. You can see that it's relatively long. So also very practical and made from proper quality stainless steel. I also like this stainless steel insert on the rub rail, which is in white. Nice detail. As I mentioned before, my actual favorite has always been the Sea Ray SLX 250, but I think I changed my mind, and that is mainly because of these two fantastic V8 outboards. Let me tell you all about it, but first let me take you on the water and I'll explain you all about the features on this SDX 290 outboard. Before I tell you about these two fantastic V8 engines, let me again give you some advantages on using outboard versus inboard engines. There are some advantages, but again, to start at the end, some people just still prefer inboard engines because of the looks. Especially ladies tend to just feel that it's nicer to have a clean swimming platform with also obviously the added advantage that you have a bigger swimming platform. Then again, there are some advantages to using outboards. One of them being that it usually is less weight. Outboard engines usually are lighter than inboard engines. Maintenance. Inboard engines usually are used in stern drive applications, and stern drives also require maintenance. Bellows need replacing every couple of years, and there's just mechanics that stay in the water and need maintenance because of that reason. Whereas outboard engines usually are trimmed up, tilted up, completely out of the water, so there's less maintenance required. Also, and that applies particularly in areas like this where you use a boat in small waterways, a boat with stern drive engines usually tends to go like this, driving slowly, more or less. It's more or less searching its direction. Whereas a boat with outboards goes perfectly straight. So there's no steering adjustments necessary on an outboard propelled boat. Noise usually can be an advantage. You may already hear that this is a really silent application. It also has to deal with V8 engines being used. They have what they call, and this is a bit a technical thing, the advanced midsection. The Mercury V8 and V10 engines have this advanced midsection, meaning that there's just more dampening than on the V6 engines, making them extremely smooth and silent. So noise can be a reason. But that needs to be proven in practice. Sometimes fuel efficiency is better on outboard applications. Myself, I use a boat with even V10 outboard engines, more or less the same as these beautiful V8s, and I really am happy with them. They are so extremely smooth, and that is especially noticeable when you drive slowly. So I really, again, love the V8s. There's another thing that I have not mentioned yet, and that is of course the joystick possibility. And let me just take the speed down. If I do this, notice what happens here. There's a green light turned on, and this means that I can actually start using or driving the boat by just using a joystick. So if I press it forward now, the light turns orange. I am actually driving slowly because it's supposed to be used especially for docking. So this is the way I can drive. And if I want to turn the boat, of course I can turn left and head the boat towards the port position or even further. And I can also move the boat like this by turning this clockwise or counterclockwise and turning the boat 360 degrees just by using this ring on the joystick. A really nice way of simply and quickly turning the boat. Not only that, I can also even move the boat sideways. If I take the joystick towards either the port or starboard direction, the boat just moves like this, sideways. Don't expect this to be doing this in a force 5 or more and push the boat against the wind. That just doesn't work. But this is a great way of easily maneuvering, and anyone could actually be taking a boat in and out a dock without having any experience. So I personally think it's also added safety, because if something were to happen to the usual skipper, if there's other people on board, having never driven a boat, they could actually just intuitively take the boat in and out of the dock by just using the joystick. So this is a thing that can be used with these outboard engines. And there's also a feature called Skyhook. If I press this button right here, there's a notice now. Do not engage Skyhook features when swimmers are present. And that is where the light comes in. The boat is being kept in this position right now, and that works with deep GPS. The engines are running, and they are engaged when the wind is blowing the boat away. You may already hear the engines doing stuff, whereas I am not touching the controls whatsoever. I'm not using the joystick. The boat is just kept in this position just by pressing a button. What is nice about it is that if you are, for example, driving just by yourself, you come into a marina and you want to prepare for docking. You just, when you're 50 meters in front of the marina, you press this button, the boat stays on the position, you take the fenders out, you put them where you want to put them, take the lines out, get prepared for docking. You still hear the engines doing things in the background, by the way. So that is a feature that is really nice. Also, when you enter a lock or something, you head towards the lock, and just a couple of meters before you press this Skyhook feature, it stays on that position and you get prepared. Not only that feature is available on the joystick system, but there's also an autopilot. And what this does, and let me take the boat in the proper direction and put it on. I am an autopilot driver because I do a lot of driving just by myself, and I head towards our Kempers Island. And what I tend to do is take the boat out, use a wireless man overboard system. That is important. We don't have it here, so I have to be really careful. But I put the autopilot on, and let me do it now. The boat just keeps using this heading, And I can actually move around. I won't do it now, I don't have the wireless man overboard, but that gives me the possibility to start cleaning the boat or get a cup, get a small drink or whatever. If you do a lot of driving on longer distances, this just is very comfortable. I mean, the boat just stays in the proper direction. Of course, you need to keep your eyes open for other boats around, but this, I think, is a really nice feature. There's another button, I think it's called track, which is this one. Before I carry on, by the way, what I can also do, you see these small lights here. If I do like this, the boat goes 1 degree to starboard. If I do like this, the boat goes 10 degrees to starboard and keeps that heading again. So this is also used in the autopilot setup. And this, let me take it off autopilot because we're coming into an area where there may be other boats. But there's another button here, I think it's called track. And what you can do there is you can actually make waypoints, what they call them. So you set up certain waypoints where you want the boat to head off to, and it could actually go from here to there, etc. And if you use this button, the boat just drives by itself from waypoint to waypoint. I don't really use it because in Holland we don't have, well, situations where that is applicable, not in this area by the way, but if I were to go onto the IJsselmeer and take longer trips, I could imagine feeling really comfortable using that feature. So that is the tracking possibility. So let me take the cord on and let me do some more explaining in general about this Sea Ray. There's a new NS6 display. I am not so familiar with the NS6 displays yet because they're really new and I tend to use the previous one. But obviously there's lots of things you can do with this, such as a instrument setup like this, where you can have all kinds of data and you can adjust which data you would want on the screen. And of course there's a chart option. As I mentioned before, this boat is going to Lake Garda, so the chart is not installed yet. I can zoom in, but there's no data yet. But there's lots of detail if you use it. I could check fuel and also fuel usage, range, etc., etc. Well, if you were to connect this via a hotspot, you could check tides. There's an echo sounder which you can see. Let me put that on. I don't think it's switched on at the moment, I'm not sure. Let me see if it comes up. It's paused. That is because the boat was taken out. Oh no, it's on. 2.5 meters below the boat and it's 8.2 degrees. So it's relatively cold still. But they're a great display. I tend to use this, by the way, especially on a boat which is new. There's a bow thruster. Some people think, well, why would you want a bow thruster with a joystick application? Well, there's certain situations where that still is nice to use. I would also always choose it, especially fitting it from Sea Ray, where it's installed at the production facility in Poland. It's relatively affordable. And an example of the use is, for example, if you head into a lock which is really crowded and you just don't have a lot of room around you and the person in the bow area just cannot reach the place where the mooring line needs to be attached, then you just press this and it very gently moves the bow towards the pontoon in the lock. So there's situations where I would definitely want to use this versus the joystick system. There's switches, as we're used to with the Sea Ray. They are stainless steel. There's upgraded stereo with this nice setup. I switch it off. Let me switch it on for a moment with the nice Sea Ray logo on. Of course, there's possibility to use a wireless connection with the phone via Bluetooth. There's a separate control unit at the transom, which I showed earlier. There's trim tabs on this boat. The new Mercury controls. I tend to, and let me do that at the moment, I tend to use the single lever if I take the boat out for a spin. So I pull this back and I use just this. And why do I do that? That is nicer to just be able to control both engines with just one lever, keeping my hand like this, especially in wavy conditions where you need to use the throttle to get off from a big wave or onto a big wave, where you need to play a bit with the throttles. That is a nice way to use the control. So this is the way how I personally like it. There's a USB and a USB-C port right here. Very convenient, a 12-volt socket. So everything's there at the touch of a finger. And of course the steering wheel can be tilted like this. And like I mentioned before, this can be, you can slide this forward and aft. And also there's this flip-up possibility to better overlook the water. It's kind of chilly, so I'm going to sit like this. And I'm going to pick up some speed. We're doing close to 1,900 RPM. Let me see, 14 kilometers an hour. Not a very efficient speed, but I'm about to take her up to plane. So let's do that. I still notice that these engines are just really smooth, but also really powerful. The V8s have plenty of torque, so I barely have to use the throttles to take her up the plane. We're already over 3,000 RPM, doing 34 kilometers an hour. It's a bit windy, it's a force 4 plus, maybe 5. But still, driving like this, 39 kilometers an hour. This I think would be a really nice cruising speed for longer distances. And the boat, as you can see, can let go of the wheel. I mean, the noise is really low. There's more noise coming from the wind in the water than there's coming from the engines. Fantastic. Let me also do some turns with this relatively slow / cruising speed. I don't have to do anything. Of course, there's active trim on the boat, so if the engines were to catch air, they are trimmed down automatically, so there's nothing I need to do here. And it just feels like a very solid, reliable, stable, big boat. And it's so easy to drive. Again, there's quite some wind. Let me catch our own waves. Really nothing to it. Then again, it does have twin V8s, 250 horsepower, so it also feels sporty. 58, 60, 65, 60, 70, 75, 81, 82. 82 and a half, it is fast. It's a big boat and it's heavy, but it just feels really, really sporty. Doing 70 kilometers an hour, and it still feels like a really small, sporty boat. So much fun and so easy. And you don't hear the engines catching air. There's really nothing to it. Oh, I could do this all day. Love it. Fantastic. And with that, let me round up this video. Thank you again for watching. We're actually close to 10,000 followers, so keep on following us, keep on watching our videos, but also let us know what you'd like to see. If there are particular models you would want us to make a review on, let us know. Have a great day, see you on the water.